Hello. Well, I've been waiting for some connectors to be sent. I ordered them on Monday. Supposedly they were shipped Tuesday from New Hampshire by 2-day priority flat rate express. It's now Saturday. They haven't arrived. I don't know where they are. In addition, I ordered solids versus stamps, the little pins. When I talked to them on Wednesday, they said they were sending stamp. Hopefully they didn't do that because the solids are more expensive. We'll get into those connectors when they get here. So what I've decided to do is we put this motor in just to get it in to see how it fit. And I'm going to take it back out. I'm going to run the oil lines, which I can only do when the motor is halfway in, halfway out, because the fitting is right here. It goes right in between the rail and the motor, and you can't get it in unless the motor is out. So I'm going to take the engine back out, put the oil lines on. I'll show you how to do AN fittings, and then I'm going to put it back in permanently. But in order to do that, I got to disassemble the blower and take all that off and lift the motor out. So that's what we're going to do. So let's get started. So this is in temporarily. This is just put in temporarily, so I don't have all the bolts in. I've mentioned it before, these studs are special studs. They're made out of aluminum and they're meant to shear in case of a backfire. If you watch NHRA, you've seen John Force in 3 races blow up 3 cars. And when they blow up, you've seen the blower come off. That's what these are all about. They're really a safety feature. If the blower didn't come off in one piece, it would shatter and go in a million pieces and become shrapnel. Here, I'll show you this. This is what I do with all parts. I get a piece of plywood and little bags, and I put the pieces in the bags. I could label them and that probably help, but I know pretty much where all the parts go. So I haven't labeled them, but it makes it so that you don't have to dig through parts. You can just go to the board and find what you need, pull it off, and put it on the vehicle. This seems loose. Well, I had put this table here to be an intermediate step, but I guess I didn't need it. Put the hoist on. So the next thing is to put these bolts in so that I can attach this leveler to the block. And I keep those handy. I get them folded, taped right to the engine hoist. By putting this engine in permanently now, I can get this engine hoist up out of the garage. And that'll be good. Give me some space. Okay, so right here is where the oil filter, remote oil filter adapter bolts. So the first step is to clean the paint off the surface of where this remote oil filter goes. And we got plugs in there, so we don't have to worry about it. Now, a lot of people think you want to have that nice and smooth, and actually it's better to have a little rough so the silicone can grab a hold of it. Listen to this, there it is. So we'll use a rough disc here to give it a little texture. Okay, so we're not really trying to smooth it out. We're not trying to take any metal off. We just want to give the surface a little bite. Like that. Now these plugs are below the surface, so I don't have to take them out yet. So now we're going to put the adapter on, and then we're going to put the motor back in so that we get the length of the hoses correct. This is an aluminum block, so we want to put anti-seize on the threads. Real important to do that. Now, I don't know if I want the hose to go through here or around and down through there. But for the first trial, I'm going to go through here because it will help us get the motor in there. And then if it's the wrong place, I'll pull it out and try again. By the way, the engine builder was real nice. He labeled in and out. Now, that doesn't make sense. Oh yeah, this is out because it's closest to the pump. So the oil gallery comes up here, comes out, goes to the filter, returns from the filter, and goes into the block. So this is the way we want to go. Now, this adapter has a recess in here. So I had to grind off the collar of the bolt so that it would go in the hole. Again, because it has to do with the rails right there. I have no clearance at all. Anti-seize, anti-seize. Now, I probably won't have to put anti-seize in it the next time I put it in there because the anti-seize will be on the threads already. And I didn't put a gasket in because I'm going to have to take this off again. Oh well, it doesn't fit. I may have to do some grinding on the block here. Yep, I do. That doesn't fit. Huh. Alright, so now I gotta do a little massaging on the block. I wonder how he tested this. You gotta take it out right there. Looks like just there. That's the only place. We had to do quite a bit of grinding in order to get the remote oil filter adapter to fit. I put a radius on it so it won't crack, but quite a bit of grinding had to be done. Now it turns out that there's quite a difference between this block and the stock block. So this is the all aluminum block, and then over here we have the stock block. And notice the upper hole of the oil filter adapter. It is not covered by the casting. And on the new block, that upper hole is covered by the casting. This back deck here comes way back further than on the stock block. The upper part of this is not covered at all. So that was part of the problem. All right, onward and upward. So as you saw, we did quite a bit of grinding to get this thing to fit. And now it's time to set it into the vehicle. And this engine wanting to rotate away, it makes it difficult. Now, I haven't put a gasket on here because we're going to have to take this back off again to cut the hoses. Okay. Now I'm going to try to go underneath this thing the first time like that. So just for right now, let's just wire tie this thing. Just keep it up out of the way. Alright, so let's set it in there. Here is the oil filter adapter bolted to the engine and in the chassis. And as you can see, there's no room there. So it has to be like that. Now the lines now run down and too close to the transmission lines. I don't like that. I'd want it up higher. And then because of the curve, are ending up going through where the fuel line is going to be. So this is the first trial fit, And we put these lines on the outside of this strut right here. The outside of this strut right here. So we're gonna pull the motor back out again. We're gonna take these lines right here and we're gonna run them through here. Now that's going to put it up on top of this, which will lift the lines up and away from the transmission lines. Now if I get a chance, I'll remake these transmission lines and put them a little lower. But if worst case came around, I could wire tie it to that front support, and that pulls the lines up out of the way, and that'll be a better scenario. So let me shut this off. I'm going to reroute the lines through here, and let's see what we got. So we're taking a significant step here. We're moving towards putting this in permanently. And the first step is to put this oil filter adapter in. And we certainly don't want to forget to take out the plugs in the motor. So let's take those out. There's one. And just as a point of interest, the bottom one is the one that comes from the oil pump. And the top one is the one that goes into the block. Let's do a final clean to make sure that we don't have any, we didn't take any fluids out when we pulled those plugs out. I sure wish I could screw in a fitting right into there, but there's just no room to do it. Okay, I think that's clean. And I think that clean surface is clean. Now I'm going to use the Ultra Black. And what I do is I smear both sides of the gasket. And I just smear it around to get an even consistency. And now what we got is a pretty even coating all the way around. And this thing goes like so. So that goes on the block like that. And nothing protrudes. Now what they want you to do is to get it on while it's wet. Take the bolts down to finger tight. And then let it sit for an hour. And then tighten it up to specs. So that's what we will do. I can take care of that there. All right. So we'll stick this bolt in like that. Gonna get up to the hole. There, I think we got it. Yep. I don't know what it is, but it wants to be started first.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right.
Okay, say it again.
It's okay.
Is it a bad thing that I walked in right there?
No.
Beautiful day.
And last bolt, wherever it is.
George is coming for dinner. If you need help putting it in, it's a good time to ask him.
All right. Okay, finger tape they want. All right, and then we gotta let it sit an hour. So we'll let that sit an hour, and then we'll come up and tighten it, and then we'll put it in. An hour's gone by, we can tighten these things up. Don't want any leaks, don't want to over tighten, but we want it tightened even. So now, I think everything else can be done while it's in the chassis. So I think we're putting it in the chassis for the last time. It may not necessarily be true, but I think we are. So let's do that. See, it's setting down on the chassis now, that's why it's sliding. There it goes. So now it's slid back. Okay, I think we have the engine in. And hopefully it's for the last time. It might not be though. Turns out there's a question on the valve spring pressure. For a blower motor, they want around 400 pounds. And we're not sure that we've got that. Anyway, the pins for the bell housing are fully seated. There's a bolt through the mid plate into the engine. The engine is all the way up against the mid plate. The remote oil filter, however tight it is in. The oil lines are nice. They're well away from the transmission lines, so we don't have to worry about heat. We have a protective sheath around the oil lines when it goes around the front support. If we come around, we see that there's plenty of clearance for the fuel line, which hasn't been run yet. And it goes into the oil filter very nicely. So it looks like that all works. So hopefully when we finally get the research on the valve springs, it's okay and the engine is in for good. Even if it's not, I can take the heads off while the engine is in the dragster. Hopefully that's not another project. Okay. There where I need it.